Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow rich effortlessly, while others struggle paycheck to paycheck their entire lives? What if I told you that the difference isn't about how hard you work, but how you think about money? Today, we are diving deep into one of the most influential personal finance books of all time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. And trust me, by the end of this video, you will never look at money the same way again. Robert Kiyosaki's story is not just a theory, it's a lived experience. Born and raised in Hawaii, Kiyosaki had two powerful influences growing up. His biological father, whom he calls his poor dad, was highly educated, hardworking, and believed in the traditional path of success. Go to school, get good grades, find a secure job. On the other hand, his best friend's father, his rich dad, had barely finished 8th grade, but he understood money in a way most people never will. These two contrasting perspectives shaped Robert's views on wealth, success, and financial freedom. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was published in 1997. It exploded in popularity, challenging the traditional narrative about education and money. Today, it has sold over 40 million copies worldwide. It's considered a Bible for anyone seeking financial independence. The heart of the book lies in 6 key lessons that we are going to unpack today. Each one is like a punch to the gut of conventional wisdom. Each one could be the wake-up call you never knew you needed. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. When Robert was just 9 years old, he asked his rich dad how to become rich. Rich Dad made Robert and his friend work for him in one of his small stores for 10 cents an hour. After several weeks, Robert was frustrated. Rich Dad then explained that most people become slaves to money. They work jobs they hate, fearing the loss of a paycheck. The rich, however, create systems where money works for them. Think investments, think businesses, think assets. Lesson 2. Why teach financial literacy? It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Robert's poor dad earned a good salary as a government employee, but he struggled financially all his life. Rich Dad, meanwhile, built wealth by understanding assets and liabilities. Kiyosaki stresses that true financial intelligence means knowing the difference. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Simple. Yet most people buy liabilities thinking they are assets. Like that shiny new car that loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. Or that fancy house that drains your savings with taxes, maintenance, and mortgage payments. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. Kiyosaki urges us to build and mind our own business, not our employer's business. This means focusing on building your asset column, investments, real estate, stocks, intellectual property. These are what truly set you free financially. Your job can fund your investments, but your investments must fund your dreams. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. This is where it gets juicy. Kiyosaki explains how the rich use corporations to protect and grow their wealth, while individuals earn and get taxed first. Corporations earn, spend, and then get taxed on what's left. This is a massive legal advantage. Robert learned that understanding the law, rather than fearing it, is crucial to financial success. Knowledge is power. Lesson 5. The rich invent money. Opportunity is seen, not given. Robert tells the story of how he bought a small, run-down property with little money down. He improved it and sold it for a profit. He didn't need a high-paying job. He needed creativity and courage. Financial intelligence allows you to create opportunities, not just wait for them. Lesson 6. Work to learn. Don't work for money. Kiyosaki's poor dad prioritized job security. Rich Dad prioritized learning. Robert himself took jobs in sales to master the art of communication. He worked at Xerox to conquer his fear of rejection. He understood that mastering skills like selling, leadership, and investing would eventually lead to wealth, not just climbing a corporate ladder. Now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just packed with advice. It's also rich with vivid, relatable stories. Remember when young Robert tried to make counterfeit nickels? At just 9 years old, he and his best friend, Mike melted toothpaste tubes made of lead and tried to mold coins. They even got in trouble with Mike's father, Rich Dad. But instead of scolding them, Rich Dad used the moment to teach about entrepreneurship. He explained that true wealth comes from creating value, not breaking the law. That story sticks with you because it shows how curiosity, mistakes, and learning can lead to true financial education. Another powerful moment, when Rich Dad takes Robert and Mike around his businesses. He shows them laundromats. He shows them warehouses. He shows them restaurants. He teaches them that each of these is a machine, designed to make money with or without them being present. Passive income, residual wealth, financial freedom, not trading time for dollars. Robert also talks about fear. Fear is what traps most people. Fear of losing money, fear of criticism, fear of starting over. Fear is what keeps people stuck in jobs they hate. Rich Dad taught Robert that failure was simply part of success. Every rich person has failed. Most have failed big, but they learn, they adjust, and they try again. Failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. Let's get real. Why has Rich Dad Poor Dad resonated with millions? Because it dismantles myths. It doesn't say, quit your job tomorrow. It says, wake up. See the world for what it is. See money for what it can do. Realize that no one is coming to save you financially. It's your responsibility. The impact has been massive. A whole generation of entrepreneurs, investors, and dreamers credit Rich Dad Poor Dad as their starting point. It's the book that says, you don't have to be born rich. You just have to be financially smart. One real-life example. Robert shares about his friend who made great money but was always broke. Why? Because he kept upgrading his lifestyle every time his salary increased. Bigger house, fancier car, more debt. He was rich in appearance but poor in reality. Lifestyle inflation is a silent killer of wealth. Another example. Robert himself invested in small real estate deals starting with almost nothing. He bought rundown properties, added value, and flipped or rented them. He leveraged small wins into big ones. This wasn't Hollywood magic. This was strategy and persistence. Now, let me ask you, are you currently building assets? Or are you just building liabilities with a bigger paycheck? It's a tough question, but it's the question that changes everything. Drop your answers below. I'm reading every comment. Let's talk emotional intelligence too. Rich Dad taught Robert that managing emotions like fear and greed was essential. He warned that greed would make you chase get-rich-quick schemes, and fear would make you cling to job security at the expense of true freedom. Balance is everything. If you're thinking, wow, I wish I had learned this in school, you're not alone. Financial education is rarely taught. Schools focus on academic and professional skills, not financial survival skills. That's why books like Rich Dad Poor Dad are so revolutionary. The key takeaway: it's not your income that determines your wealth. It's your financial habits. It's your mindset. It's your ability to think like the rich. Robert's final message is crystal clear. Financial freedom is available to anyone willing to change their mindset, willing to learn, willing to take calculated risks, willing to build assets, and willing to persist through failures. Now, imagine your future. Imagine waking up and knowing that your money is working for you, not the other way around. Imagine the freedom to spend your time as you wish, to help others, to live fully. That future starts with a shift in thinking, a shift that begins today. Before you go, if you found this breakdown eye-opening, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into life-changing books. And share this video with someone you know who needs to hear this. Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about choice. It's about freedom. It's about living life on your terms. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep daring to dream bigger. See you soon.